our project that I want to do with you. And there's just a couple of easy but fun techniques on this one. So I got some backgrounds ready. I want you to tell me which color you like here, but I will show you how to do the backgrounds. And while you're responding, because there is a little bit of a delay, I'll just show you the bundle. So the Honeybee bundle is this beautiful stamp set and this gorgeous set of dies. I love this little honeycomb set of dies, or honeycomb die. It's just such a neat little background or even focal point. We're using this one in the project today. And then these stamps just stamp out so beautifully. We'll use that bee in just a minute. So anyway, so this one is just available through Tuesday evening or until they sell out. So I wanted to do one more project with these before it goes away. Now to do our watercolor wash background, I'll just put that over here in the corner so you can kind of see where we're going. I wanted to use some different colors so that you can see that although the honeybees are fantastic in the white, the black, and the yellows, or the golds, that it doesn't have to be that you could use browns maybe if you want to make it more for a guy. But for this one, I'm going to use Melon Mambo, which is a really hot pink. So I have a piece of 3.5 by 5 inches, so a little bit smaller than a normal card front, of the shimmer white. So if you watched my video earlier this week, I think it was earlier this week, about different papers and different inks and what to use on what, you'll know that I'm choosing shimmer white because it will take water better than the whisper white. So what I'm doing is taking my aqua painter first with no color on it and just getting it wet where I want to kind of put my ink. So just in that one little spot there. And then I've squeezed the lid and put some, squeeze the ink pad and put some color in the lid. And then I'm just going to go over where I got that wet. And by getting it wet first, it allows that ink to move rather than immediately soaking into the paper and just having a big sort of splodge there. And then I might just put on another little layer, a little bit there. And then I'll let that dry. I'll wash my aqua painter off. Okay, but as I mentioned when we started the video, so I've got my hot pink there. I did do some before I started this so that they would already be dry. And I didn't see any comments of what color you wanted me to go ahead and demo with. I have Bermuda Bay, Gorgeous Grape. This one is actually Rich Razzleberry and the Crushed Curry. This is Crushed Curry mixed together. And that happened because I still had Crushed Curry on the brush, but I just went with it. So it's kind of like this pinky gold color. And then this is Bermuda Bay mixed with Crumb Cake. So just some different colors. In any case, I'll make them all up and put photos up. But for this video, I don't see any comments yet. I think I'll go with the Bermuda Bay, but like I said, I'll make all of them up. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is, it's very subtle on this, but actually you can see those, the little black speckles. So I'm going to use actually my blender pen, or my Stampin' Blends, they're not blender pens, to create the flecks. So I've moved everything else far away, and then with the Stampin' Blends, you can see that you've got a fine tip with the fine line, and then you have a thicker tip with the fat line, and you want to use the fat one. And basically what I want to do is take that tip and just flick it on the lid, just like that. And that's enough. Just once or maybe twice, and you get some little flecks there. Hopefully you can see that. And I just love that look. It adds something, but it's not the kind of thing that jumps out at you either. And then our next step, I'm actually going to do this slightly different than the sample, is I'm going to use, these are this, oh, I always forget the name of these. They're the stitched shape framelits, I think. So I've used this one, the second smallest one, and I've just used that on vellum. And I think I'll just use a glue dot to put that on. So with vellum, you just want to avoid using any wet glue. So just a glue dot or a piece of tape, and you want to put it where you're not going to ultimately end up seeing it. So then on top of the vellum, I'm just going to do this little, I'll bring this back in, this little twirl of metallic twine. So I'm mixing some old with the new. This is new. This is gold twine, I want to call it. So it's like linen thread, except it's actually metallic. So if you have this, then great. If you have linen thread, then use that. If you have the old gold, just metallic thread that's really, really fine, you could also use that. So, sorry, I was talking when I should have been explaining. So I wrapped it around some fingers. I've used 3 fingers. You could use 2, you could use 4. And then I'm just going to lay that down about where I want it. Oops. Let's try that again. 1, 2, 3. Grab the ends. Lay that down where you want it, but don't let go. And then I'm just going to grab maybe a little piece of our tear tape, and I'm just going to put it here on the ends, and I'm going to end up with all these little frayed pieces, which you could just leave them, which I think I'm probably just going to leave them, or you could cut them off. And now I'm going to peel the backing off just because I don't want a piece of, I think the white would show, the white backing, but the clear tape isn't really going to be obvious. Okay, then I think at this point I'll do my stamping. So here we have thinking of you, sweet friend, and all of these words are here in this stamp set, and the font is like an old, I've said this before, but it just reminds me of like an old Western movie for some reason. So I'll use Memento Black for that, and I think I'll just use the hello for this one, because I think this one could pass to give to a guy. Okay, there we go. I probably wouldn't want to say thinking of you, sweet friend, to a guy necessarily. And then I'll put my bee over top. Now for the bee, I've just cut him out of black, and I actually just cut him out of the black offcuts from when I cut the mats. So this project actually didn't really use much in the way of supplies ultimately. Okay, I got a little glue squish out, but that won't matter because over the top of the bee, we'll use these designer elements. Now there's a row of gold missing, so you get 3 rows of gold, silver, and copper. And I did look on the computer before I started this video. These are still available, and they are discounted even. And what I love about these is not only are they gold, but they have some black in them, which makes them perfect for this kind of thing because it just brings all those colors together. Okay, then next we'll go ahead and mat that to our black. And I'm going to use snail adhesive just for speed on the video. And I'm going to use probably a lot more than I would normally because this paper has been wet, so you can probably kind of see that it's buckled just a little bit. So you want to adhere it down really well. Now, as you may have realized, our snail is discontinuing, but there's something else coming in its place. I didn't look, I'm not sure if these have sold out, the refills, but I do have a little stash of them if you need some. And then I'm going to put this on top of our standard card base. And what I did was, let me just grab them. I cut one of the honeycombs. These probably aren't a pair, but it's about that size. I cut one of the honeycombs out with the same shimmer white and then just cut it in half. I'm just going to put a couple of these in the corners. I can probably cover that up pretty well. Okay. Then we'll put dimensionals on the back of this piece. You can put more of those honeycombs on, but I wanted to keep it fairly clean and simple, so I didn't want to detract too much from that main image. Okay, and then put that on. I quite like it in the blue. I feel like something's a little bit off center. It might be the bee. I might fiddle with that a little bit more, but it looks pretty good. And then inside, basically, we're just going to do the same 3.5 by 5.5 shimmer white and then the black matte. And inside the card, we're going to grab our little bee, this one here, that one there. and stamp him in the Memento Black again. And this stamps up so nicely. It's like so satisfying. And what I did is I did 3. So I did 1 on each end and then eyeball the one in the middle. And while I have that out, I'm just going to go ahead and throw one on the envelope as well. Okay, then, oops, open that up. Put that on. Sometimes I like to leave the inside of my card blank for the moment until I know what I'm using it for. But with something like hello, I think it's good to even just leave it blank and then just write what you end up ultimately using it for. Okay, so whichever one you like better, the yellow or crushed curry or the Bermuda Bay. And then after I end this video, I'm going to go ahead and make these other ones as well, and then I'll share photos of those. So hopefully you enjoyed that. You learned a little bit about making a watercolor wash, how to do this little circle of twine. I might end up cutting these off. I might just do that real quick. Whoops. And also one last hurrah with the bumblebee dies and stamp set, because these are actually my favorite, and they were the best-selling ones out of the mini catalog, so I'm surprised they aren't staying around. But let me know if you need a set of those if they aren't still available in the online store. All right, thanks for watching, guys, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.